Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super discussion video. I don't really think this is a theory, man, but it's like, it's out there. I don't know. Anyway, guys, I am once again joined by Rakurai Network, man. What is up? Say hello to everyone listening.
Greetings, everyone, once again. You know what? I give up. Thank you for having me again. That's just gonna be a thing I keep saying.
That's this guy. Anyway, guys. So we are going to be discussing today. You saw the title, you saw the thumbnail, but let's kind of step back and really explain this. Maybe you're curious. Maybe you didn't necessarily understand it. I don't necessarily know what I'm going to title this video right now at the moment of recording this. But anyway. We are wondering why certain people haven't been shown in this tournament. And if I can imagine, I think Universe 4, we have two people that are basically outlines. In Universe... No, that's Universe 2. Universe 2. Universe 4, there's legitimately two people who aren't being shown at all. And Universe 6 has people that they're not showing and are in kind of shadows, but they're there as well. So I'm wondering, all in all, that's essentially like 6 people, and they said at the beginning of this tournament that there's going to be nobody who has less than 10 members. Everyone got their full roster before this tournament started, but we're wondering, why are they being so secretive? Why are they not necessarily showing everybody right here on the forefront of everything going on? And man, I'll throw it over to you if you have something, but I could take it if you want. I could take the ball. What do you think?
I'll try. All right. So the first thing that I thought of immediately was that, and this is probably quite a few people are thinking, is that it could just be a genuine just animation tactic. Maybe if they're unimportant characters, maybe they don't show them, but that just doesn't seem right to me, honestly. They've shown silhouettes for characters before, and it's just usually for a very important character. And it kind of, maybe this is a point I should have saved till later on, but I can't shake this feeling that, what if Jiren isn't our main threat here? What if in reality some of these people that are kind of hidden in the shadows there are the actual main primary antagonists, or not antagonists per se, but in contrast to our protagonist, that being Universe 7, some of those shadowy figures may actually be more powerful than Jiren. We have no idea, but that's just something that just kind of pops into mind, that maybe because I mean, again, the intro to this arc has sort of proven us wrong before. The whole Majin Buu thing, we thought that was gonna stick. We thought that was gonna be a major part of it, but look what happened with that. So I wouldn't be absolutely shocked if they're using the Goku versus Jiren match to just hype people up. But in reality, some of these figures in the background may actually be the main people to worry about in this tournament. But I'm probably wrong. What do you think?
I mean, no, that's a legitimate argument or a legitimate discussion to be had, and I want everyone to go down to the comment section below and tell your thoughts and opinions on what that could potentially mean. Who would you, I guess, be looking forward to see the most, and on which team? I know we've only had outlines or people on Universe 2, and then Universe 4, we don't even know what they look like. I mean, a lot of people have said those guys might just be invisible. And Ten Shinhan, the thing is, I honestly think that the people on Universe 4, the two invisible people, I think that would potentially be Ten Shinhan's time to shine. I guess I pun intended because of the solar flare. Anyway, I think the thing is I'm not necessarily sure how that really ends up, but considering the fact that even most people on Universe 7's team were yeah, I guess they don't have anybody, but they say they have everyone, so I don't know. And Ten Shinhan was literally the only one in this crowd going, yeah, there are people, I sense them. It'd be interesting if he's the only one who could sense them, or for whatever reason he's the only one who could fight them. And that would give at least Universe 4 a little bit more of an advantage, something to look forward to, because I feel like their entire team is just nothing but scrubs. Maybe I think so. And so it would be interesting and good way to give Ten Shinhan some spotlight, but also kind kind of make Universe 4 a little bit more of a threat. When it comes to Universe 6, though, I think it's way more interesting than all the other ones because, well, why not show it? I mean, what's the reason for not showing it? MJ and I did a video about this a while ago. Basically, could it be a Majin character? Could it be a Namekian character? what are the odds that that's actually the thing? And I always thought that potentially not, just considering the fact that what would be the harm in showing us that? Like, it would give us a reason to be like, oh my god, look at that. That's crazy. And it's not something we didn't necessarily unexpect because, I mean, like, obviously they're twin universes. Those two things should at least be in existence. It wouldn't be as jaw-dropping as seeing a Yardrat in Universe 2 when they really shouldn't be there. But I've done a video on that, and MJ's done a video on that. And anyway, I think Universe 2 is someone to look forward to. If that's the only other place. The two people they've shown look fairly big and intimidating. I don't necessarily know why they're not going to matter, and they showed everyone who does matter, and Toei was just sitting there going, we need some kind of I guess we need some kind of a figure just to kind of show these people, even though they're going to be kind of on the sidelines almost from the very beginning, or at least in an episode or two, and that's why we're not seeing them, or if there's some greater mystery behind these people. And I mean, I don't really know.
I actually have a few thoughts on that. For one, um, and it goes back to a video that I made a while back, but kind of like how every different universe has a different strategy for this tournament thus far. Um, One team has the strategy, has used a strategy as their main form of battle. They tried the Nadi Rama and all that stuff to try and knock everyone off, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work. Plan failed, then Universe 10 basically was thinking only brute force. That's the only way, which mirrors the fandom, but I'm not going to go into that right now. And I wouldn't think it too far to possibly think that maybe some of these universes bring a whole bunch of fodder, and then maybe they have these one or two people that they're purely relying on. Which in a way, if I'm going back to the whole fandom comparison that I did in one of my old videos, it wouldn't shock me if that's sort of similar to like how the fan base sort of like ends up relying purely on Goku and Vegeta in a way. If a universe separately sort of employed that as well, maybe they bring like all these a pool tier characters, and then somewhere out of nowhere in the shadows they have these True Gold and Frieza esque characters somewhere back there. Like this, like I could just definitely see that happening. And actually, really quick, I wanted to touch on the Universe 6 thing about the just really quick thing about the Majins and the Namekians thing. If they were to bring in a Majin in particular, it would make Majin Buu's, I suppose, withdrawal from the Universe 7 team. I'm just gonna say withdrawal for the sake of that, but I think it would make it a lot more interesting, honestly. Like if they bring in a Majin that maybe in Universe 6, since everyone seems to evolve differently in Universe 6, maybe he starts off with a much bigger power than Majin Buu has. And maybe it kind of goes back to them having to fight off this force of like just pure full on destruction. But even then, I agree with you that I don't necessarily see why they wouldn't show it. But then again, it's just making me think they're hyping up Universe 11 so much, and they're hyping up the Pride Troopers so much, especially Jiren. And while I could just say that Jiren is going to be the main threat overall, which is definitely what Toei is trying to pin it as, I feel like that's been way too obvious since the start of this arc, and I feel like they're going to mix this up somehow. I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly how, but I could see any of these universes, like especially Universe 4 with all these trash tier characters, like them having like this one person somewhere in the back that they're relying 100% on that just hasn't shown himself yet.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely think that might be the case. I really have no idea. And personally, what I would think, and I did a video on this, I'll link it at the very end of the video, just kind of put it up there. I personally think that you're right. Like maybe Universe 11 has just been kind of red herring this whole time. Maybe everything about this has been kind of a red herring, and somebody who we haven't been focusing on, somebody who shouldn't really matter that much, is going to become the biggest threat in the arc. Now, I wouldn't necessarily put that past them, but I wouldn't really put that at their feet either. They definitely didn't do that with the last tournament arc, and it's not something they really do over and over again. I mean, Hit was the main villain. Hit was the main, situation that they had to fight. Usually, uh, I guess a good example would be like Frieza. He wasn't the most intimidating looking, but the way they treated him, and was like, why is everyone treating this guy like he's so big and strong? Like he looks like punier than Vegeta was, or at least looked. And Vegeta was the same thing. So it's not like Dragon Ball hasn't done it before. And it's like Hit and Jiren. It's like they're both very intimidating physically, and potentially somebody hiding in the shadows is not going to be the big bad of the entire arc. But it's just weird to me that it's just so weird to me. Maybe my one thing could potentially be, what if Toriyama and Toritaro don't necessarily have designs for everybody in the 10 member situation? They were, when we get to it in the manga, they actually leave somebody out, which is a different possibility. We don't know. These stories haven't really added up in the same way. So instead of doing that, for whatever reason, Toei just decided to give everyone 10 members, and they're not necessarily going to show everyone fighting or getting pulled off. The only problem I see with that is, instead of actually, I mean, they're going to have to start ignoring universes on the stands, which wouldn't be very hard. But, we're going to start seeing, like, well, there's only 8 members on the Universe 4 team, or 8 members on the Universe 2 team. Personally, like you said, like you have a bunch of scrubs on Universe 4. I honestly think Universe 2 is something to actually, Universe 2 is going to be one to actually be in dread, because Universe 2 is Universe 11's partner. It's its twin sibling. So that means, like, and we also seen, like, with the Sailor Moon ripoff and everything, they basically have the same shtick. At least the main people have the same shtick as the Pride Troopers. So it'd be very interesting, in my opinion, to do that little twist where the main antagonizing force, the strongest person here, the one we're all should be afraid of, is someone, not necessarily threatening looking and anything like that, but considering the fact that Universe 2 is Universe 11's mirror opposite, or at least its twin sibling in the universe thing, it's like, well, we told you this. I mean, it was right there, but you didn't really want to look at it that way. You thought that the big and strong guys were the main focus, but it actually ends up being more like a Ginyu Force versus Frieza thing, where, like, the big, flashy, colorful guys are not necessarily your main antagonist, or not necessarily the strongest people, even though they give the heroes beat down when they first meet up with them. I think that would be really cool. Like I said, I did a video on this on my channel. MJ and I talked about it again. I think the Yardrat has something a lot more to do with this than meets the eye. So, like I said, I'm gonna put that video in the at the very end of this video. But what are your thoughts on that?
Everyone, please watch it. Please watch it.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Universe 2, though?
Please watch that.
Do you think
video,
Universe 2 could potentially be the main antagonizing force in this tournament, or do you think that's just way too far fetched? Because they are having people silhouetted. I mean, like, some certain people are silhouetted.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I completely forgot that Universe 2 was the twin universe up until now. I completely forgot about that. Like, it's those little details that slip past me. But one thing that kind of just came to mind, another potential issue with, with the idea that they may just not have enough designs ready, was that they kind of already did something to do that, I guess, because there were, I believe it was 4 universes that didn't have to participate because they already had, like, a high mortal level. So that was basically 40 characters they didn't have to make. So that in itself was already kind of which I'm not calling them lazy or anything like that. I don't believe that they are, but in a way, if you want to say it was a cop out, it kind of could be, for the sake of them not having to make like 40 plus designs, which I understand that completely. But that sort of adds on to why I do think that these guys are meant to be something intimidating, because they've already done the tactic to not have to animate more people. They've already done that. So at this point, Universe 2 being the main threat, it wouldn't really shock me, though something that just came to mind. Dragon Ball Super has already broken a lot of tropes. Like you said with Frieza, he looks like this unintimidating guy, and you're just like, why should I be afraid of this person? Then eventually you find he transformed, and he transformed again, and he transformed again, and then transformed again, and then in 2015 he transformed again, and it just went on endlessly. Um, Whereas in Dragon Ball Super, Beerus didn't look like an intimidating villain at all. But then we bring back Frieza. We have literally this evil version of Goku who that was an intimidating design. I think Dragon Ball Super is trying to slowly break its archetypes, I suppose, for their characters. Which I may be going way too far off of that, but even still, I definitely feel that now that you mentioned the twin universes thing, that would be so slick if they really did try and say, well, Universe 11 is what you think you should be worried about, but in reality, it's their twin universe you should be worried about. And again, that whole mortal that's stronger than a god thing, we don't know who that is. They never specifically said Jiren. Anyone who has said that it is Jiren for certainty, that's never been said, I believe, unless correct me if I'm wrong.
Hmm. No, it
So
was never said to be Jiren, and like I agree with you. And one of the things I just want to point people's attention to when it comes to Universe Two, and potentially why Universe Two might be, I guess, a little bit more like we should probably be a little bit more concerned with Universe 2 going forward is we don't know much about them. We know a whole lot more about Universe 11. There's a lot of build up to them potentially being the main people. Hell, there was a lot of potential. There was a lot of build up for Kale. And although we haven't seen episode 100 yet, we know how that's going to end. like like build up doesn't have to mean a whole lot when it comes to Dragon Ball Super. And the one thing we did get to see from Universe 2 was this main character, this Sailor Moon type fat little, I guess Teletubby, whatever she is, and I think, like, I'm pretty sure they're doing tryouts for the Tournament of Power or something. She shows up, she transforms, and she literally kills. It looks like she kills like two bystanders for like no reason. Like absolutely no reason. Like she looks like the Get Up, she fights for justice and all this other stuff, but she's indiscriminate. And it's really interesting the comparison between that scene that we got from her, although a lot of people brushed it off, and what we've seen from the Pride Troopers, who really do seem like they care about the lives of individual people. And like it's just so interesting, like that little comparison. So maybe, just maybe, they're hiding people. Maybe the Yardradian from Universe 2 is there because Universe 2 is going to be our main focus here. After all is said and done, and Jiren is just this thing that's going to tire everyone out, and they're just lying and waiting for everyone to get either tired or something else like that. Now that's way out there. I'm not even sure, but just think about that. Like, she killed two people like for no reason. So I don't know.
yeah, I could see it. I could definitely see it. Like if they and going back to the whole thing about build up in Dragon Ball Super, like I mean, like you said, they were really building up Kale like a lot. Now, mind you, a lot of people were kind of uninterested because they were saying they were basically judging Kale off of their judgments of Broly, which they're two completely different characters, but that's a completely different discussion for another time. I'm not going to trigger people right now, but like they're different characters, and there was a lot of hype for this character. I'm not saying that her character arc is necessarily over yet, but to see all that build up, see Berserker mode finally be well, it's not legendary Super Saiyan, but you know what I mean. That sort of look be canonical now, or at least in the Dragon Ball Super canon. And to see all of that sort of go to waste by Jiren just, by him Saitamaing her basically, it would be kind of crazy if all this hype from the intro, this huge fight sequence between Goku and Jiren and all of that is only the second to last main battle, because in the Zen exhibition match Universe 11 was the main final enemy. Topo was that final boss type of character in order for Universe 7 to sort of move on. Um, so in a way, I kind of feel as though they've already done that. So if by some chance they if Universe 2, because you brought up a really good point about Universe 11 and Universe 2 that I hadn't really thought of, where Universe 11 seems to be a lot more on the caring sort of humility type of side, whereas Universe 2, they seem to be the same way. They seem all cute and cuddly, but then they're on the strict disciplinarian sort of mindset there, destructively so at that point. So imagine if one of these girls just transforms and just beats Jiren in one freaking punch, just can you imagine the outrage that the fandom would express that day? Like I can see the tweets. I can see the tweets right now. But yeah, like it just wouldn't shock me. Like if they made one of them the main primary villain, because one thing that kind of feels a bit out of place throughout the entire intro is Vegeta fighting. Was that one word from Universe 2, I believe? That
Yeah, that's her. That's the Teletubby girl.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like that one particular thing. It felt a bit out of place in the rest of it, and it just kind of seems like It seems like Vegeta is fighting this what otherwise would be a fodder character, whereas Goku is fighting Jiren, which I just find interesting. Like if these are like two fighters like Goku and Vegeta are having a tag team, that has to. Which again, I'm not going to judge much from the intro, but if I were to stretch it to its furthest extent, that's an important thing to bring up. Is just like Universe 2 is in any universes that have some of their warriors sort of shadowed, that they're important. I think Dragon Ball Super has done so much with ambiguity as is, and though a lot of people want all these things completely explained to them, though many people would call them being silhouettes lazy on Toei's part, I think it has a purpose, and I think there's a further implication behind it. And people have just got to look through those implications and realize that this arc has already surprised us so much, and I don't think the surprises end here at all.
No, I completely agree. And one of the things that's going around today is the outro, the new outro kind of showcases who might be getting off first. It shows the I guess the order in which people are going to be getting eliminated. And it was an interesting theory, but when that comes to it, it says it's Krillin, then Tenshinhan, and then Vegeta. And it would be interesting if yeah, like this seemingly unimportant girl is the one who actually knocks him off, because she's seemingly unimportant and he takes it that way. That would trigger so many people. That would trigger so many people. Like if Vegeta gets knocked off for like no reason, doesn't even go very hard, and gets knocked off because this girl's way too strong. I don't even want to imagine. But at the same time, it's like let's talk about this as adults. Like it's a cartoon. Like if that would happen, it would be interesting to see how they move forward with that. Plus, it would be a way to turn the tide a little bit and be like, well, maybe Jiren isn't the only threat here, and potentially there might be more at stake. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. Anyway, guys, with that being said, unless you have anything else,
I don't believe I have anything. I had something in mind, but I can't remember.
Okay. Anyway, guys, with that being said, please make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to go down to the description section below and hit that link over to Rocket Ride Network's channel. You will not be disappointed. There's some really thoughtful stuff over there, guys, so please make sure to go check it out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Don't forget to hit that bell over by the subscriber button for notifications every single time I upload. But with that being said, guys, we hope you have a good day. It's been real.
Have a good one, y'all.